Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to this PHP and MySQL video tutorial series. In this tutorial, I'm going to cover about basic looping structures in PHP programming language. Looping structures are nothing but the loops that are going to be looping again and again until the conditions is fully satisfied, or it can be an infinite loop in which the conditions never holds to be false. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's work with some of the scripts in PHP and make this topic much more clear. So I will just write my PHP tags over here and I will just save it as sixth.php, right? So there are basically three kinds of loops, four kinds of loop, we can say that: for loop, while loop, do while loop, and for each loop. And this loop is only available in PHP language for each loop. I don't know about other language, I'm not sure, but according to my knowledge, this loop is only available for PHP language. But if it's available for any other languages, then please let me know. Fine. So first we are going to look about for loop, and in order to use for loop we have to initialize the variable first. So first comes the initialization part. So I will initialize a particular variable called as $I equals 0 or 1, let's say 1 over here, and then next step is the condition part. So the next step is $I is less than or equal to 10, let's say, and $I plus plus. Okay, so I'm just going to echo out $I, and I will just append a break tag to it so that you can see the output line by line. And I will just execute the 6 script from here, that is 6.php, and that is the output over here. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 output it line by line. So how does it work? Basically, first it looks for the initialization part, and the initialization part over here is $I equals 1. So we have initialized $I as 1, then the $I is less than equal to 10. So it will loop until it is less than or equal to 10. So in this condition we specify that after 10, that please do not loop it, I just want the numbers up till 10. So if the condition over here gets true, then the next step is it echoes I over here. So basically this is the first step. $I equal to 1, $I less than equal to 10 is the second step. Then the third step is the printing of echo I. The third step is not the I++ stuff. The basic confusion over the loops is that the students many a time understand that the $I++ is the third step in executing any loop, and that is very much that is pretty much bad logic to understand it, because the third step after getting the condition to be true, the third step is the printing of the I, or printing of any statement that you want to execute on which the condition holds true, right? And after this, after the I has been printed, then the fourth step is the I++. So suppose the 1 is printed and then the I is incremented by 1, then the next step is again it checks for the condition. If it holds true, then it will move on to the next condition. It will move on to the statement part, and it will output the statement. Then again it will move on to the I++ statement over here. Then again it will check for the condition over here. Then again it will move to the output statement inside the for loop. So this is the basic working of for loop. It can either be incrementing or decrementing. So we have just saw the example of how to increment the for loop. Now we will just see the example how to decrement it. So in order to decrement it, we want values from 10 to go downward. So we will just write $I equal to 10, and $I should work until it is up to 1, and we will minus the I. So what this $I minus minus does is it will always decrement by 1, and $I plus plus does is it will always increment by 1. So it is very much similar to assignment operators, like as in I plus equals 1 or I minus equals 1. Fine, so it is very much clear to you. So $I plus plus. So let's just check out the output over here, and we have some error, I think. Sorry, I have not decremented it, I have incremented it. My bad. Again, I have let me write it again. Let me check out again. Do I have saved it? Yeah, I have saved it. Yeah, so here is the output. So after saving the file, I just got the output as 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1, and this is the way of incrementing or decrementing any statement. Or we can also increment, instead of I, we can increment hello over here. We can write 10 times hello over here as well. So it prints as hello 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 10 times. Okay, so the basic working of for loop, while loop, do while loop is almost the same, but it is different in the case of for each loop because it only is available for the arrays. So we are not going to deal with for each loop right now because we haven't cleared the concept of arrays yet. So whenever we clear the concept of arrays, then we are surely going to look into the for each loop and how to print the values using it. Okay, so next step is the while loop, and in while loop the first step initialization. So the initialization is always before the while loop starts. So I will initialize $j over here equals 1, same as for loop, and I will just comment out the for loop. I just want to demonstrate you all with the basic workings of for loop, and maybe in the next or upcoming tutorials I will just clear some of the logic. I will uh, uh, make some of the programs which are difficult to execute uh, by using looping structures. Many of them are confused how to print the patterns and how to print for example Fibonacci series and some of the digits and all that stuff. So in the upcoming tutorials maybe I will have some of the tutorials on it. So but for now, just look forward into all the stuff of all the basic stuff of looping structures. So I will just, so in the while statement I will just write the condition over here as $j should be less than or equal to 10, right? And over here the first step would be to print out the value. So $I, so $j, sorry, it's not $I, it's $j. Okay, and I will just increment $j plus plus, that is j plus plus will increment the value of j by 1, always by 1. Okay, so let's just print out the output over here, and that's it, the same output as we got during for loop execution, right? So similarly we can decrement it as well and increment it as well. Okay, so I will just leave that up to you guys to check out how to increment and decrement the basic stuff. Okay, and the next we are going to look forward into is do while loop. Basically there is a difference between while and do while loop. The basic difference is that in while loop the condition is executed first, and in do while loop the statements are executed once and then the condition is matched. So even if do while loop holds out to be false, it will execute the condition, it will execute the statements in it at least one time. So let's just start with do while loop, and we will just write the statements over here. We will first echo dollar I. We haven't initialized it. The basic step is to initialize it. Dollar I equals 1. Fine. Echo dollar I and dollar I plus plus. Fine. And the while is over here just besides the end of the do statement. Okay. While dollar I is less than or equal to 10. Fine. So let's have a look at the output over here, and it says the same again. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. We haven't provided the break tag over here right now, so it just printed horizontally instead of vertically. Fine. So that was the basic stuff of do while loop, and now let's just check out the condition that will while dollar I is less than equal to 0. So dollar I is almost, so now just here dollar I is 1, and we are checking out it should be less than or equal to 0, which is false condition. So let's see what it prints out. So it just prints 1. Why? Because this condition is false. It never goes on this condition, but it will surely print this one, because the statements are executed first and then the condition is executed. Okay, so even this condition is false, it will print out the value of I once. Okay, so that is the basic difference between while and do while loop. And in this tutorial we just covered about for loop, while loop and do while loop, and they are basically used for printing the values more than one time. Okay, so for example, if you want to print the years of a calendar, like nine from we have a registration form and we have like dates, like we want to print from 1911 to, suppose example, 2013 till this year's date. Okay, we want to print out all the years. Then the looping mechanism is very much useful for that stuff, so that we don't have to write the each and every year again and again. Okay, so it is very cumbersome process to do that. So uh, in that case the loop comes to a rescue. Okay, so that's all for this tutorial. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye.